One weekend, they decided to go visit the young man's hometown. Their reputations preceded them, and when his family heard what he had been up to, they were worried. People were saying that he had gone out of his mind as talk of demons and unexplained miracles churned the rumor mill. Though he had come back to town, he had not yet returned home. When his family discovered where he was, they went immediately, but upon arriving, they found a giant, packed house party with crowds all inside. Finally, they managed to send word that they were waiting outside. The young man's response came rippling back to them through the crowd. Who are my mother and my siblings? Here are my mother and my siblings. Whoever does the will of God is my brother and my sister and my mother. So as we said, we are beginning a new series considering critical elements that go into building a home. Today we're pondering, how do we cultivate a spiritual home where strangers become family? This story of Jesus from the 3rd chapter of the Gospel of Mark, where he has recently left his birth home to forge his own way into the world, provides a provocative question. For many of you, whether a freshman, graduate student, young professional, it is an unfolding question that you face as you leave your family of origin and in the coming years explore who will become your new family. It is worth noting who Jesus hung out with when he left home. Some of the folks came from a similar background or just like him, but he often went to people he was not supposed to be hanging out with. Tax collectors, lepers, sick people, sex workers. Definitely very different from the community that he grew up with, and also people likely shunned by most others. These were the kind of folks that were around Jesus when his mother and siblings sought him out, the ones that he declared to be his new family when he answered his own rhetorical question. In a time and cultural context where bloodlines and clans were everything, that's what determined who was your family, Jesus was making a radical and scandalous claim, creating a family where there was not supposed to be a family. To be clear, he was not disowning his parents or his siblings. Rather, he was redefining, expanding who he wanted his followers to consider as their own family members. So instead of being able to list a shared genealogy, Jesus invited people around his table that needed a family, those who often experienced being on the outside. So what might that mean for a community who seeks to follow Jesus? Fairly straightforward. It means that we create families with those who are looking for one, for those who maybe have not experienced being fully welcomed. It also means the people who come together may not look like a family that one would expect. For it's not about being like-minded or similar, because God makes people family across all boundaries, especially those who are strangers to one another. I'll be honest though, I don't really like this. I like the idea better in theory than in practice. More like a bumper sticker or social media post than reality. If I am honest, I know that when I encounter a stranger, my mind and body instinctively react by assessing if this is someone that I can trust or should be treated as a possible threat. Strangers, especially those who look